Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure and an honor to work with Highlander and help you develop a new 3-year strategic plan. In our presentation today, we'll touch on the highlights of that plan, starting with an organizational overview, then looking at the environmental scan and SWOT analysis, then sharing the mission and vision statements, and then finally concluding with our strategic goals. In addition to this presentation, we've prepared a one-sheet handout that provides more details on the strategic goals in the timeline, showing the objectives to meet during years 1, 2, and 3. Are you ready? Because we are Highlander.
The Highlander Research and Education Center, also formerly known as the Highlander Folk School, is an organization located in Newmarket, Tennessee, that trains current and future leaders of social justice movements. Founded in 1932, it has been a champion for building and supporting grassroots movements in Appalachia and the greater American South for nearly 90 years. Historically, Highlander played a role in the American civil rights movements of the 1950s, hosting trainings for prominent leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and members of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. Today, they continue their tradition of championing equality and justice by providing intergenerational educational programming that promotes social and economic justice movement building and leadership development for people from all walks of life. Through our environmental scan, which consisted of examining the political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal landscapes affecting Highlander, we were able to identify prominent tensions as well as promising areas. Notable tensions facing Highlander include its location within Appalachia, which has endured high poverty levels, social stratification, racial tension, and harmful environmental practices such as extractive mining. However, Highlander's environmental landscape shows promise regarding developing local trusts through providing measurable results towards significant economic and infrastructural development. Constructing a SWOT analysis, which examines Highlander's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities for growth, and threats, enabled us to identify key areas in need of attention in order to establish strategic goals. Highlander's strengths include its strong historical resilience and uncompromising vision, as well as its established network within the greater Appalachian region. Its weaknesses are found in its small size and its minimal digital presence. Opportunities for growth can be found in its capacity to expand its network both nationally and globally, and in expanding its digital resources such as shareable educational materials. Some threats that Highlander faces include the ever-changing political atmosphere and laws, and losing stakeholders to bigger, more visible social justice organizations.
Mission and vision statements. Before we get to the text of the new statements, we wanted to explain how we framed our approach to developing them. Mission and vision statements should be concise, clear, and impactful. They should be true to the spirit and purpose of the organization, and they should capture the work that's being done today, as well as building toward a vision of the future. Their creation should be rooted in collaboration and informed by previous research, in this case, the environmental scan and SWOT analysis. So, using Highlander's current statements as a starting place, we took what we felt was the heart of your message and adapted it to reflect your strategic goals looking forward. Our mission is to dismantle structures of oppression, both locally and globally, by promoting social, economic, and environmental justice activism. We exist as a space to build solidarity and develop collective knowledge among marginalized groups, and as a launchpad to prepare people of all ages to become leaders in the fight for justice, equity, and sustainability. Highlander envisions a world where justice, equity, sustainability, and solidarity are accessible to all people. We aim to harness and expand virtual and in-person networks to support these ideals, both locally and globally. We are dedicated to using all established and emerging tools to increase cultural knowledge about justice and movement building, to connect budding activists with like-minded individuals and collectives, and to collaborate with grassroots organizations committed to restorative social justice, anti-capitalistic economic initiatives, and environmental sustainability. And we will not stop until everyone is free to determine their own destiny in a world that nurtures and cherishes their dreams. Before we get to the goals, we wanted to pause here for a moment just to remind ourselves about Highlander's educational methodologies. The goals that we've outlined were born directly from our discussions about your 6 main methodologies. We won't go over them here again today, but we wanted to make sure that you knew how much we honored your practice. Rebranding doesn't mean changing. It simply means reaching new audiences so that your methodologies can help more people.
We truly believe in Highlander's mission. The goals we chose for Highlander reflect our sincere belief that the Highlander Center should be recognized throughout the world for the amazing work that it does and continues to do. The focus of our first goal is Highlander's name recognition. By performing user research, a website redesign, and interactive feature development, we intend to increase the accessibility of Highlander's website to newcomers. The second part of achieving this goal involves cohesive branding through a new logo, digital newsletter and podcast, and utilization of an expert spokesperson. The effect of these actions will be measured through an increase in donations, brand recognizability, and national media appearances. The focus of our second goal is Highlander's digital platform. Employing a full-time digital information manager will give rise to the development of compelling digital content and social media campaigns, which in turn will bring organic traffic to Highlander's website. Increased social media engagement that reflects current trends and the latest platforms will be measured through more followers and a broader digital reach. Being a source of knowledge is a value that's instilled in the very foundation of the Highlander Center. Our third goal aims to fortify the educational resources that already exist within the Highlander Center. By making all current materials, recordings, and workshops available through Highlander's website, and continually developing new educational materials for the site, we hope to bridge the gap for those who are unable to visit Highlander physically. An educator who puts these resources in easy-to-understand terms and accessible formats will further solidify this goal. The success of these actions will be reflected in the number of views and shares associated with educational resources on Highlander's website.
In line with Highlander's methodology concerning land, legacy, and place, our fourth goal works to acknowledge the history of Appalachia's environmental challenges and to take concrete steps to give the community the opportunity to protect it. In the late 1960s and 70s, Highlander played a vital role in fostering organizations in Appalachia, supporting anti-strip mining and worker health and safety struggles, among other efforts. In the 80s and 90s, Highlander expanded its work to support grassroots groups fighting pollution and toxic dumping, and supporting the emerging anti-globalization movement by sponsoring workshops on economic human rights and trade and globalization issues, and by forging connections with international activists and organizers. The people of Appalachia deserve to know whether or not they are living on affected land and if their water is safe to drink. In collaboration with multiple fellows, we will offer testing kits for the air, soil, and water in the area to encourage community knowledge and autonomy. We will provide free testing kits to anyone who requests one as long as they report the results back to Highlander. There are two separate kits. One will test the quality of the drinking water in Appalachian homes, and the other will test the soil, water, and air in the area for pollution levels. We believe this is an important goal as it will further encourage the community's connection to the land around them and to their homes. Understanding the history and current state of their environment, how to test for pollution, and how to share this information will promote community safety. This goal will be measured by monitoring traffic of the new online databases and environmentally educational resources, as well as documenting how many kits are requested and dispersed and how many participants report their findings. The program will then grow and expand to other nearby potentially affected areas. In order for Highlander to fulfill our potential of becoming a truly radical organization, it is imperative that we are transparent about environmental and labor practices. Goal number 4 will begin to put into practice a passion for sustainability and protection of the earth. And goal number 5 will expand on this by taking stock of Highlander's environmental footprint and then making all of this information public. We will record our emissions and assess our carbon footprint, as well as record our water and electricity usage. We will then work to become a carbon neutral organization within 3 years. This test will repeat annually, and the data will be showcased as a sustainability subsection of Highlander's annual report. The objective of this transparency is to show commitment to the natural environment as well as the workplace environment. Employee surveys will be conducted every year to ensure satisfaction, safety, and dialogue between Highlander and staff. Making this information public will show Highlander's commitment to a healthy work community. Under capitalism, it is so often the case that employers exploit and mistreat their workers. As a self-proclaimed anti-capitalist organization, it is important that Highlander practices good treatment of their workers. Employee responses will be recorded and with consent be made available on the Highlander website. This will be updated every year.
It has been a pleasure to work with Highlander, as we too believe in the transformative power of justice, sustainability, and solidarity. By enhancing your website and digital footprint, increasing media contacts, further developing successful pilot programs, and reaching toward more transparency as an organization, we believe that the name Highlander will become synonymous with expertise in social justice, and you will indeed serve as a continuing catalyst for social, economic, and restorative environmental change, both in Appalachia and beyond. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to address them, and you also have the handout and the full text of the strategic plan if you'd like any additional information. Thank you again for allowing us the opportunity to help you move forward.